Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Elevate Your Soul podcast. In this episode, I want to share with you the things in my life that helped elevate my lifestyle, elevate my soul, and dramatically change my life for the better. Now, the number one thing that truly transformed my life was finding the importance of self-love. Self-love is the key to living a happy, abundant, fulfilling, content lifestyle. And from self-love, everything else flows from there. Life flows beautifully, harmoniously from when you come from a place of self-love and just love in general. If you guys know, I believe that everything comes from a place of love or fear. And when you're living your life from a place of love, you're going to have a fucking lovely life, simply put. So some of the things that helped dramatically change my life from finding the importance of self-love and learning to love myself, you begin to understand your worthiness. Knowing that you are worthy of having the things you desire. You are worthy of feeling pleasure, and you are worthy of living the life you have always dreamed of. I never had this mindset, and I never truly believed this on a subconscious level, but learning the practice of self-love and learning how to love yourself unconditionally, you will begin to see your worthiness. And once you begin to see your worthiness, you will realize that you will end up distancing yourself from certain people in your life that are completely not in alignment with you or that are even destructive to your overall growth and happiness. So you begin to step away from things that are no longer serving you, and you begin to find things and become attracted to things and start manifesting things that are in your favor. And that all comes from a place of worthiness. And as I said, like knowing you are worthy of fulfilling your desires, of feeling pleasure, of feeling good, of feeling amazing, of feeling confident and feeling sexy and all those good things. And of course, chasing the life that you love, following your dreams, living in a beautiful, harmonious environment and place. Those are all possible, and you first must believe that you are worthy of getting these things out. And you begin to realize your worthiness from learning how to love yourself. So another thing from self-love I learned was I have this fiery passion within me to always grow, always evolve, and always learn new things. And some people have that more naturally than other people, but that is coming from a place of self-love as well. Because if you didn't love yourself, you probably have some kind of subconscious or core belief that you're dumb, and even though you learn things or read books, you're never going to take anything in, that there's no point in learning because you're never going to do anything with that knowledge because you're not capable of doing anything with that knowledge, so on and so forth. So coming from a place of self-love, you know you are worthy. You know that when you grow and evolve that you can help other people because you know the worth of yourself, and you know that you can help other people on the planet. The more you learn, the more you grow. So I really, really learned so much myself in my spiritual journey in my life by listening to podcasts. And I listened to podcasts and like audiobooks and speeches even, and motivational videos, like way before podcasts were even popular. I don't even think there was the app podcast like on an iPhone. I was listening to them back in the day where I had to get them on my laptop. I actually got them from my older sister. She transferred them to my laptop. I think it was iTunes or even the internet or something like that. And then I burned them on a CD, and then I would play them when I drove around on CD. So that's where I started. Then podcasts came in, and that really helped transform my life because it's not often that I sit down and read a book. So I was able to absorb all this knowledge whenever I drove anywhere, which was quite a lot in those few years that I was doing personal development, or more than a few years. going to events, like I went to a Tony Robbins event, thanks to my mom for pushing me to go with her there. Going to these personal growth development events and listening to speakers talk about, personal development is always a great thing. Doing some research online and just being curious, hearing other people's perspectives, looking up things that you're interested in, and just always having this curiosity for life and this curiosity for growth and wanting to learn is so important to elevate your soul and evolve as a human being here on earth. From self-love, I also learned to have healthy and positive friendships and relationships. From what I realized through my own experiences in life and through personal development is that you are basically who your friends are and who the people you spend the most time with, who you're in a relationship with. You are most like these people than anyone else on the planet. And the more you spend time with these people, you begin to morph into each other and you become just like them. And it doesn't matter if you are the one with a stronger personality and your friend is usually the one to do whatever you say. Yes, you'll probably end up rubbing off more on them than they will you, but there's still always some kind of influence and some kind of impact on an energetic level that you might not be able to tell, but it'll be subtle. So choosing my friends really, really wisely, choosing my romantic relationships very, very, very wisely. And all of that also came from a place of growth and worthiness, knowing that I'm worthy to have amazing friends that fill my cup up or help me be happy and help me live a great lifestyle. From learning to love myself and from a place of love, I also look after my mental and my physical health much better than I ever have. And this isn't just one quick transition of like a 180-degree turn. This is obviously a very slow process, and we all do things just one step at a time. And that's totally normal, and I think that's the best way to maintain overall health and growth and learning anyway, is to make these small subtle changes, because they're the ones that are most likely going to last the longest. So looking after my mental and physical health, what did that look like? Getting enough sleep. I treasure and highly value the amount of sleep I get. When you are asleep, everything in your body that needs to heal in your inner body or on your skin or anywhere will heal while you are sleeping. Your body cannot heal as efficiently or as quickly as when you are asleep. So I know that when I'm getting my sleep, it's like a beauty rest, and all the cells are doing what they need to do and working 10 times faster than they would if I'd be awake. So it's really important to me that I get enough sleep every single night. Fitness was another big thing. Learning also how to exercise and finding the balance in what is too little and also what is too much. I had a phase in my life where I was definitely exercising too much, and I didn't know I was exercising too much at the time. I just wanted to be super fit and healthy, and I thought that was a healthy, cool thing to do, but turns out it wasn't. So finding the balance in fitness and also making exercise fun. So doing things that I actually am excited about, not dragging my body to the gym, what I'm not excited about, or doing a fitness class that I'm nervous about or not really looking forward to. Like, always enjoying what I do when I move my body is super important, whether that's dance or going for a walk, and just like being really choosy, but in a good way, because I know what elevates my soul more and what makes me happier at the end of the day. So if I'm going for a walk, I'm not going to go for a walk down the street. I'm going to go to a forest and take a walk in the forest, because I know that fills me up and lights me up so much more than if I'd be walking down the street. It's the same with yoga. If I'm doing yoga, I want to go where I really, really enjoy the instructor and I really like the music she plays, so I can enjoy that yoga class so much more than if it would just be any yoga class. So I'm very like picky choosy with my fitness, but in a super healthy way, and I just make sure that I'm always having fun while I'm doing it. Eating nutritious food is another one, obviously. Having more quality food and just food that is overall like less processed, doesn't harm the environment, how it's made, and not being so strict on myself either. You don't want to go too far on the spectrum of, being orthorexic or anything like that. So finding the balance as well. Like, yes, I want nutritious food. Yes, I want quality food. But every now and then, if I'm absolutely craving a dessert or whatever the case may be that doesn't follow those labels or whatever, I will just eat it anyway because I like to eat intuitively, and if I feel like I want something, I'm going to eat it. And of course, yoga was a huge part of elevating my lifestyle and elevating my soul. I began to do yoga. I didn't even really have the mindset of, I'm gonna begin my yoga journey. I kind of just went to a class and I realized that I was pretty flexible, and I had no idea that I was more flexible than the average person. I thought everyone could just, touch their toes and put their foot behind their head and things like that. And when I went to this yoga class, I just realized that this was just something that I was naturally really good at. So obviously it was easy for me to continue going to that. And it was more about just another workout class and, getting more and more flexible. And it wasn't until doing yoga for more than 2 years that I realized it is entirely also a mental and a spiritual practice, but it does take time for anyone who starts doing yoga to really get the wonderful, amazing side benefits of how yoga calms the mind and lightens the spirit. That is something that comes a bit later once your ego drops and once you're less focused on if you're doing the poses right, and just once you learn to breathe and just focus within your body, and that does take time. Some other things that really helped me look after my mental health was rewiring my brain, which is so much harder than what you may think. Rewiring your brain basically just means since we were young, we have this automatic response to anything in life. Our brain is wired a certain way from how we grew up, how we reacted as kids, and to become an adult and become fully self-aware of where your thoughts are going and what triggers these certain thoughts, and then having to rewire them is very, very hard, but I knew how beneficial it will be. And I'm obviously still working on that in many, many different ways, but it is a very, very slow process, but it is so beneficial. So working on that slowly and by doing that, I just, am absorbing knowledge, doing more personal development, listening to more podcasts, integrating what I know, obviously, and then traveling the world and putting myself in uncomfortable positions or exploring new things, being adventurous. All those things really do help with this journey of self-awareness and training the brain to be rewired in a way that is serving you in life and is going to help you live a better lifestyle. Another one was letting go of bad habits, which habits is kind of the same thing. It's like this automatic response that your body has to something else. And there's things you do mindlessly that are no longer serving you. I learned to cut those out and be fully self-aware with what I'm doing and how I'm spending my time. And of course, last but not least, is adopting new core beliefs that are going to serve me and throwing out any other subconscious and core beliefs that are no longer serving me. And some of my favorite quotes or sayings I ended up tattooing on my body. Not all of them, obviously, unless my whole skin would be covered in ink, but I started getting tattoos around the age of 18, and I think my last quote is when I was 24 or something like that, and I will probably end up writing a few more quotes on my body one day, but I'm trying to slow down because I don't want to be fully covered in ink by the time I'm old. But some of the tattoos that I wrote down on my body, the first one was everything happens for a reason. I got that when I was 18, and it's on my right wrist, and I love where I put it, and I did it purposely so that I'm always looking at it. And when I'm stressed, and when a lot of people are stressed, they put like their hands on their head and they're just like, oh, frustrated. And when you open your eyes, your wrist is right there. And that's why I put it in that position. And it says everything happens for a reason. And that is just my reminder that life happens for you and not to you. And you may not know the answer right then and there when you're feeling frustrated or you're feeling aggravated or you're feeling let down, why the universe is doing this to you, or why your plans didn't work out, or why life isn't going in quote unquote your favor. But trusting that the universe has a better plan for you, life is happening for you, not to you. And you might not understand in that moment where the benefit is coming from and why you're experiencing this trauma and this distress right now, but you're going to learn and you're going to grow from it, and there are going to be much better things to come after that event. So having that just helps me have faith that life is going to be okay, that I'm okay, and that I need to trust in this universe and stop trying to control every single little thing, because control is coming from a place of fear and not from a place of love. The other tattoo I have just below that one says, count your blessings. And that 100% is about gratitude. And I believe you cannot live a happy life if you are not showing gratitude, if you're not grateful for what you already have. No matter where you're at in life, you must show gratitude. And not just writing something down on paper or saying, I'm grateful for my food, I'm grateful for my clothes, I'm grateful for my kids. It's really about embodying and expressing your gratitude, showing that you're grateful, feeling it in your body, expressing that in a creative way, in whatever way you want. That is the next step of gratitude. Just writing through things you're grateful for every day on a piece of paper isn't really going to do it justice. The other tattoo I have that goes across my other arm says, you are beautiful. And that is my reminder that no matter how shitty or dumb or ugly I'm feeling on that day, that I am beautiful, and also they are beautiful, that every single soul is beautiful. So I didn't even really get that tattoo for me. I did it because I think there's beauty in every single person on the planet, and they need to know that, because some people do not know that. They're not aware of it, and they do not feel beautiful. And that is my reminder to also, when it's sometimes harder to see someone's beauty, when they're someone who's backstabbed you or cheated on you, or they just really, really upset you and trigger you. It's finding the beauty in them, because there is beauty in every single soul. You just need a different perspective, and you need to see them in a different light. So everyone is beautiful. The other tattoo I have on my fingers, ouch, that one hurt, is make the most of now. And that is all about living your life. I love the analogy of like, live your life as though you had like 1 month left to live. What would you do if someone said you had 30 days left to live? What would you do with your time? What would you do with the next 30 days? Like living a bit more with the mindset that time is so precious, and once it's gone, and you'll never gain that time back. And also, I don't know, I find with that mindset, you learn also not to be such a bitch. Like, why would you hurt other people if you're not going to be around for much longer? Like, you just be a little bit more careless around things that are stressing you out, and a little bit more focused on things that you actually want. Something I highly recommend to get you in this mindset as well is try out a death meditation. I'm going to say no more, but Google that shit, and if there's a class in the area that you live on, or if you find one online, do one of those. I highly recommend it. Another tattoo I have wrapped around my upper arm says, where there's a will, there is a way. And what I take from this is the obvious one. If there's a will, there's a way. Be determined, chase your dreams, go after your dreams. But it's also about, I see it as saying, there's a win-win or a win-win-win situation in every single moment, that just because you're getting it your way doesn't mean somebody else has to be losing because of you getting your way, or someone else getting their way doesn't mean that you're not getting your way either. I always believe that with enough communication and enough strategy and creation and being creative, there's always a win-win-win situation. So you never have to feel bad about getting everything you want in life, because you getting everything you want in life doesn't mean that other people have to suffer for that. And yeah, just being positive that there's always a positive solution for anything and everything that gets in your way, or, bad things that we perceive to happen to us. There's always a positive way out of it. So stay positive. Where there's a will, there's a way. And the last tattoo that I have gotten says, on my thigh, says, when someone else's happiness is your happiness, that is love. And I absolutely love that quote. It is all about compersion, and I learned that word when I dived into polyamory and learned about polyamory. There's this word that they created in that community called compersion. And compersion, the way I see that word is you're happy for someone else's happiness. So seeing the people you love be happy, that just lights you up so much, and that makes you so happy. And learning to be happy for someone else's happiness in any form or way that makes them happy. And learning to love them unconditionally. Unconditional love, to me, is the only real love. Unconditional love is where it's at. That is what we should be striving for. Loving someone, no buts or but if you or if, just loving. When someone else's happiness is your happiness, that is love. Yes, that is unconditional love. That is saying, I love you so much. You are a part of me. When you are happy, I'm happy, because we are connected, and I love you, and I want nothing but you to be happy. So that's another beautiful quote I love. I don't have any more tattoos at the moment of these quotes, and there's so many other quotes that I love and I live by, but these ones are the main ones, and that's why they are inked in my skin. And I feel like it is very beneficial to find some quotes that resonate with you, but actually live by them, not just say them. As I said with the gratitude thing, saying things you're grateful for isn't enough. You want to embody and express that gratitude. You want to embody and express these quotes that you're finding. You want to live by these quotes. You want to be the example of these quotes. So those were all the things that helped me elevate my lifestyle. I hope you guys got something from this episode. If you can relate with anything that I mentioned, please let me know. You can send me a message over Instagram or Facebook at ArelHug, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye. Hey YouTube fam, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button below. And if you think a friend, a family member, or just someone you know who could benefit from this podcast episode, please share this video with them. And if you've been enjoying the Elevate Your Soul podcast, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for new episodes weekly. Thank you.